Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Piano TV. I'm Allysia, your host, and today I have a super exciting announcement. I am so hyped. Today we have launched a brand new course on Piano TV. So we've done courses on the channel before. We've done 30 Days of Piano, Songwriting Workshop, and the 6-week mini course. These have all been focused on playing piano, kind of learning pieces. So in the instance of the 6-week mini course, you were learning one specific piece of music. But this course, the Design Your Own Piano Path course, is totally different in that it's not like a method. You're not learning how to take a piece from start to finish. You're not learning a theory skill. This is something that I designed for you to be able to use in theory for a lifetime. This is something that you can use for many, many years as you chart your own piano course and plot your own path in the wilderness of piano. I feel like I was going somewhere with that, but it kind of just tapered out. This course has been in development for a year, but it's actually been incubating in my studio for years before that. And I will get into some details. I want to share a little bit about the story of how this all came about. I'll talk a little bit about my own past, my own piano teaching history. So buckle up. This is going to be probably a long one. I'm just going to say that in advance. I'm not really too sure, but I have this feeling that we're just going to sit down and have some fun. Also, if you want more information, if you want to see some of this in text as opposed to just me talking about it, check out the links below. You can take a look at that. And I also want to let you know that there are a couple bonuses that are expiring in a week. So this course will be available for you indefinitely if you want just the standalone version. But there are a couple fun other things that are going to only be around for a week. So I want you to be aware of that as well. Anyway, let's get into it. All right, so why a Design Your Own Piano Path course? So I began teaching piano around 2005, 2006, and I was just thrust into the deep end, basically. I started with 4 days of students, and they were all half-an-hour lessons, so in my first couple months, I think I had something like 40 regular students on a weekly basis. And I maintained that momentum for many, many years. Actually, once I started teaching private lessons in Toronto, and then later in my own home studio, the only reason I scaled back wasn't because I was scaling back the amount of time I was teaching. I was scaling back the number of students I was teaching and made the lessons longer. So I had more like 20 to 25 students in the later years, but that's because we were doing 45-minute lessons instead of 30-minute lessons. So I've been teaching a lot. And to be frank, I found the early years of teaching to be super stressful. It was fun. I enjoyed connecting with the students, and I felt that that was my main strength. I was able to bond with them and create a relationship, which I felt was the main reason that they kept coming back. It's not that I don't think I was a bad teacher. Maybe sometimes I was, and I'm just not very self-aware. But I knew how to have a connection and have a relationship with people. But I always felt like I was flailing around with no idea what I was doing in terms of the long game. So being a piano teacher is different than being a classroom teacher in a lot of ways, and probably for a lot of obvious reasons. But classroom teachers have really strict curriculum to follow. So there's some really obvious and particular checklists of things you need to have taught your classroom by a certain grade level. And it's different from country to country. But the idea is that there's like a standardized form of education. So a grade 1 student from Halifax and a grade 1 student from Calgary are going to be getting roughly the same education. They're going to be learning roughly the same thing. So nothing like that really exists with piano. There is the RCM and ABRSM and other music schools. And I relied on that heavily to give me guidance on what to teach and how to plan my lessons and structure my lessons. But they don't give you a curriculum. They don't give you here, you check these boxes and then you will know you've had a successful teaching year with your grade 1 student. It's kind of just, here are the pieces that you could teach your students. Here are the exam requirements. Now go at it and do whatever you want. So on one hand, that's incredibly liberating because it gave me the opportunity to, instead of being stuck with someone else's model and following that, I was able to create my own from scratch. But it was stressful because I had to create my own from scratch. And without any experience, when I first started, I really just had no idea what to expect, how long the stages took. I had no idea how to get a student from age 7 to 17, from the beginner stage all the way to like the advanced, they're writing history exams and they're playing high level music. Like I had no idea how to actually like make sure that student was following the right path. and getting them from point A to point B. Like, I just had no idea. I could help them with their dynamics or their rhythm, but I had no sense of how to actually allow them to progress in a meaningful way. They still did progress. My students did well. I had students who would perform in music festivals and compete, and I didn't feel like I was failing them utterly. I just didn't feel like I was giving them enough. I didn't give them enough of a long range. And it's not even that I wanted my child students to have a clear sense of their own future, but I needed to have a clear sense of their future so that on a weekly basis, I knew if we were moving the needle forward or not. We weren't just randomly learning music. Once I started getting really into the Royal Conservatory of Music and their structure with grades, like grade 1, 2, 3, etc., I started feeling a little bit more in control of my teaching and of the lessons that I was providing students. But it wasn't until I started teaching in my own home studio and in Toronto when I really started to take some of the ideas of the Royal Conservatory, take their syllabus, take their requirements, but figure out how to teach on a weekly basis in a way that wasn't just learning random RCM pieces and arbitrarily learning their technical requirements and just kind of randomly doing exams. I found a way to actually have my students learn core sets of skills as they develop. So I came up with some things that a standard, grade 1 to 2 student I'd want them to know, so that all grade 1 to 2 students I taught were kind of learning some of the same concepts. And these concepts, this was important. This was a really big development for me. But these concepts weren't just limited to piano technique things like learn how to play a C scale or learn how to play legato. It was integrating history and more complex aspects of music theory and other concepts into the lessons that might not have otherwise been involved in the lessons. Trying to get a student to learn music theory can be a really challenging experience. And I love music theory and I'm super enthusiastic about it, but it's hard to get other people enthusiastic about it, especially when music theory is kept totally separate from just regular lessons, like they're not connected at all. It seems really pointless and it's like pulling teeth. So I started learning how to integrate theory concepts into their music. So for example, if we were learning a pentatonic scale, then I would want to teach them a piece of music that used the pentatonic scale, because then it was actually directly relevant. Or if we were learning a Beethoven piece, we might spend a little bit of time learning about Beethoven. So it wasn't just music theory or music history in total isolation. It connected to the pieces that we were learning on a weekly basis. So I began refining this approach over the years. And then I started my YouTube channel in 2015. And that's when I started receiving a lot of emails with questions or comments like, I'm like totally lost. I have no idea what to learn. I feel like I've been kind of going in circles with my practice. I feel stuck. I'm losing my motivation because I just don't know that I'm practicing the right things, and on and on. This is my, bar none, most common email that I receive. People who are motivated, passionate, bright, eager, but just feel totally at a loss as to which direction to go. And there is so much content online. I've created a lot of that. I've created 400 videos, so even my own channel can be overwhelming, let alone once you incorporate other channels and everything that exists outside of YouTube as well, like just the internet, all the method books that exist. It's just, there's a ton of information. So no wonder it's super confusing. And I take it for granted. I've been teaching piano all this time, so I have a good sense of where a student's going, especially because I've built my own curriculum. And I have a sense of what repertoire exists and all of that. But someone without all of this kind of background experience wouldn't have that. So again, I wanted to create a course where I could give that to you, where I can take this knowledge in my head and give it to you so you can find clarity. I wanted to be able to give those people who emailed me and you guys, the adult learners out there, the ability to take charge of your own piano journey. I wanted to be able to share everything that I would consider essential to learn at each level and each stage of piano, key books and repertoire that I recommend to all of my students, an important syllabus database that I use and search pretty much every single day, planning and suggestion ideas, and just so many more things. I wanted to just be able to finally and satisfyingly be able to answer my most frequently asked question: I feel stuck at the piano. What should I learn? Since September, I've been working exclusively with adult piano students. So it's been about half of a year where instead of mainly teaching kids, I'm exclusively teaching adults. So that's been a really great way to get a better sense of how this curriculum I've developed, originally mainly for children, applies to adults as well. It's been this fun and interesting and difficult experience all at once to get an idea of the struggles that adult students face and just working with them and their own unique problems and strengths as well at the piano. All right, so let's talk about the nuts and bolts of this course. We'll talk about the 3 different tiers. Tier number 1, the main tier, kind of like the baseline one, is going to be available indefinitely. And it's the second and third tiers that are going to have more options for like more personalization, essentially. And I'm really, really excited about them. It's kind of a little bit of a hybrid approach of what I've been doing recently with my coaching, with what I've been doing in other areas of my life with group sessions. So we're going to talk about all of that. But yeah, let's start by talking about the course as it stands. We're going to get really into the weeds. This course has 6 modules and 27 lessons in them. As far as the pacing, I leave it open-ended. So I don't structure it on a week-by-week basis. So I don't say module 1 is week 1. You could take 6 months to go through it and do 1 lesson a week. You could probably go through all the content in 6 weeks. It really just depends on the pace that you feel comfortable with. So that part is open-ended. Here are the 6 different modules. So module 1 is getting started and creating a practice plan. This one's all about taking action immediately and just getting you going, giving you some of the basic information. Module 2, figuring out what your level is and tracking your progress. Module 3, this is kind of the fun one. It's a little bit of a grab bag of different things. I like this one. So I called it Expectations and Musical Exploration. So we talk about things like how long does it take to practice piano, but we really get granular with timelines. And we also do things like explore the virtues of listening to music and other things like that. So that's a fun one. In module 4, we talk about the 6 different categories of music, like the eras of music, like Baroque and so on. And I talk about key compositions and things like that in each of them, key collections in each of them. Module 5 is about the 4 different skill levels. And we talk about this is where I get really into my curriculum and the things that I would expect people to learn at each individual stage of learning the piano. And then finally, module 6 is all about creating a lifetime plan. So this is taking all of the information and thinking about it from like a higher level concept, thinking about your dreams, your ambitions, and actually being able to implement them in a way that makes sense and that you feel good about. Another reason I wanted to create this course is I think it's pretty unique. Like I haven't seen anything out there. And I would have loved for there to have been a course like this when I was first starting as a piano teacher even. Something to help me give structure to my students. So this is also a course that I think would be useful for the piano teachers out there. Most courses that exist are basically like methods. So they give you music and you follow along and you play it and then you go from point A to point B, and in theory you're a better piano player at the end. And that's kind of like the courses that I've done. So this is kind of like reimagining the idea. So instead of it being a method, it's almost like we talk about methods, but it's more that you create the method. Okay, so what's included in the base tier? You get 27 lessons in 6 different modules. There's a complete ebook of all of the lessons. So this course was actually originally conceived as an ebook, and I wasn't really planning on turning it into a course. I was kind of just doing it for my own sake, really. So I still have the ebook that all of the lessons were derived from, so you receive a free download of that. There are audio recordings and PDF reading assignments for each lesson. So some of you prefer to listen, some of you prefer to read. I wanted to make both options available to you. There are also 8 videos in the course in addition to all the audio and PDF content provided. There's an exclusive 3-part video series that ever since teaching adult students and coming across a lot of the technical issues that they face, I wanted to give you some of my advice for those of you who aren't going to be studying with me personally. So if we're not going to have private lessons, I wanted to give you some of the things that I see over and over and over again in my private lessons. And it's just a 3-part video series on the 3 most technical problems that I see adult piano students face, that, the things that I repeat over and over and over again on a weekly basis. And I take you through 4 different pieces and show you how to work on that, essentially. I have my beloved searchable database with thousands and thousands of pieces that are graded and categorize that you can use. And like I said, this is a list I use on a daily basis. And many of the lessons have worksheets and assignments to go along with them as well, because I wanted it to be really actionable. The baseline version of this course, the one that's available indefinitely, is $97. This is what I charged for 30 days of piano, which was very comprehensive. It was 30 lessons in 30 days. There was a ton of depth to that. They were half-an-hour lessons, so it was just like this crazy amount of content. So the reason that I think this is a good price, and it's something I think about a lot, because I don't want to overcharge you guys. I want to give you just like so much value, that just making sure that everything is fair. But where I'm coming from is this is material you can use for the rest of your life. This isn't meant to be used for, 30 days or a few months or anything like that. It's meant to be used again and again, material that you can reference for many years to come, especially if you're at an earlier level, like if you're in the early intermediate stage. You can get a sense of maybe what some of the gaps in your learning are from previous stages, and how to choose your pieces going forward, and how to plan your path. And for years, learning piano from like a preparatory to about a grade 8 level is about a decade. So depending on where you're at, this is a big, it's a lot of years. It's a big commitment, but it's awesome. All right, let's talk about tier number 2, which I'm nicknaming the group tier. And this is one that's only available for 1 week. The reason for that is just because a lot of these things are based on timelines. So one of the perks of this particular tier is that for 2 months, for March and April, I'm going to hop onto a live weekly Q&A session. So this gives you the opportunity to ask me personal questions as you're going through that. Well, maybe not like personal questions, but ask me questions about the course as you're going through it. It'll also give you the opportunity to you can email me maybe a video of yourself practicing, if you're comfortable with me sharing that live with other people in the group. So I can give you kind of a little bit of a live coaching session, which is sort of like how master classes work. And that's what we'll do, 8 sessions of those for those of you in the group tier. And that's just to give you a little bit of a community. You'll also have access to a private Facebook mastermind group for people in tiers 2 and 3, people who are going through the same things. So you'll be able to share your practice with other people and get feedback, as well as give feedback, ask questions, and just enjoy the general camaraderie. There will also be a bonus training webinar with a live Q&A, and that's going to be all about how to assess the level of a piece. Again, this is another huge issue that I see come up with people, is being able to pick up a piece of music and kind of look at it and assess if it's an appropriate piece of music for them. Oftentimes people really overshoot it and they pick music that's way too difficult because it doesn't look that difficult. So it's a webinar all about that. We get in like really granular with it, and you'll have the opportunity to ask me questions about it at the end. So this is something that's available to people at the group tier, and then the 3rd exclusive tier as well. Another fun bonus for those of you who join this tier is you'll get access to 4 videos that relate to the course content, but I don't know what those videos are yet. So fun little thing that the tier 3 guys get to do is I'm going to be communicating with them on more of a private basis. We'll talk about what that means shortly, so you guys can know what's going on with that tier. But they'll also, I'll be picking their brain for ideas on videos, on what videos that we could further publish for course participants to help them get the most out of the content, maybe some questions that consistently come up or some problems they're having. So the exclusive tier 3 guys are going to be able to help me decide 4 video topics. And you tier 2 guys are going to be able to watch that content. So I thought it would be fun to try something like that, something a little bit more collaborative, because I have ideas and I can come up with video ideas, but I don't always know for sure what's going to be the best for you guys to learn. So I wanted to collaborate. I thought that'd be super fun. This tier is going to end up containing a ton of extra content, like over 10 hours worth of additional content when you factor in every 1 hour live Q&A session, the webinar, and so forth. Plus, I love going live and chatting with you guys. I think it's really, really fun. So selfishly, I quite enjoy doing the live sessions as well. All right, so tier 3, the exclusive tier, the top one, the one that's only available for this week, just like number 2. So again, if this is something you're interested in, I encourage you to make up your mind pretty quickly about that, is the personal customized experience. In addition to the course content that you get at the base tier and all of the stuff at the group tier, because you also get to join the live events, you get the webinar, you get to determine what the bonus 4 videos are. You can help collaborate with that. There are a couple really, really awesome things in this tier that I'm super excited to tell you about. First of all, you will get 1 private correspondence session with me. So what I do with my coaching students right now is they'll send me a recording, like a video recording or audio of their practice. I'll write down some notes and I'll record a video and send it back to them with my feedback. This is loosely equivalent to a 30-minute piano lesson, but I actually prefer it to private lessons because I'm able to be much more concise and condensed. So we spend less time wasting time. I don't have to ask you to play something 4 times in a row so I can like get a better idea of what you're doing. I have time to kind of go through my notes, research, listen to recordings, kind of get ideas on how to give you the best feedback. And then I record a video for you so you'll have access to that feedback forever. And I can give you feedback on anything. I can give you feedback on your pieces, your technique, your plans, anything like that. But it is a private correspondence session with me. So that's one of the benefits of the exclusive level that's much more personal. Another benefit, and this is one I am really, really excited about, is we're going to be putting people in this tier into mastermind groups. So we're going to make small groups of about 3 to 5 people per group, just depending on how many people kind of are able to be matched up. We're going to match people up based on their level and often based on their time zones as well, because within that group, this is going to be like your accountability group to go through the content, to share your experiences with each other. And if that sounds scary, I want to back up and tell you kind of why I think this is such a great idea, because I've been doing stuff like this myself recently. Back when I took piano lessons as a kid, I actually didn't take private lessons until I was like 15 or 16. I think is when I started being by myself. But before then, there was always like 2, 3 other people in the class with me. And it was good. That it was like a kick in the pants to practice, and it got me pretty good at improvisation and ear playing and stuff too, because I was forced to sometimes go along with what other people were doing, and if I hadn't practiced as much, I would kind of have to wing it. So my winging it skills got really good, but it made me excited to go to piano every single week because I had a community, people who I would see, friends. So that was great. And some other groups that I've been doing more recently is Steve Pavlina creates courses online. And he's recently created basically like a character development course called Stature. And I've been going through that with 2 of my friends. And it's like the only reason that I've actually made any progress on it, basically, because we can kind of say, okay, well, let's do 3 of the lessons this week. And then we'll meet up on like Skype or Zoom or something like that, and we'll chat about it. And it's given us the opportunity to go deeper into the lessons than we would have individually. And it also gives us the opportunity to bond and go deeper in our relationship, which is great. Another group that I've been doing recently is a writers group. I kind of spearhead like a small writers group. There's about 8 of us who get together on a weekly basis. And again, it's all about the accountability. Not only am I making friends by hosting this group, but it's allowing all of us involved to actually show up and do the work and achieve our goals. So that's the intention with putting you guys into groups. Now, another perk of this tier is that we'll also have a couple private coaching sessions with your group. So me and the rest of your group will get together all on a live video call, and we'll chat, and I'll give you some personal coaching. Like we can get you guys actually playing the piano. I'll give you guys some suggestions on how to work with your group on ideally a weekly basis so that you're continuing to move forward and make progress, and ideally making lifelong friends and help you with that. We'll also talk about your journeys, and you'll have the opportunity to ask me questions since it'll be basically just a live chat. They'll be really fun. There'll be 2 30-minute sessions with me and the rest of your group as a way to kind of kickstart everything and help you along your journey. And I've never done anything like this before, but based on the groups that I'm a part of right now, including one that I front, it's super fun. It's super, super, super fun. So hopefully the shyer ones among you aren't like freaked out by that. It is really fun. And finally, those of you in the highest tier, the exclusive one, will receive a free print copy of the Piano Path ebook, which is cool. So those of you at any tier will have the option to purchase the book additionally. So you'll get the ebook free, But if you want it available on Kindle, or if you want it in a print copy, there'll just be a small fee to basically cover the printing charges for that, if you wanted to get the content in that way, and that'll be available to everyone. But those of you in this tier, we're gonna ship it out to you pretty much anywhere in the world that Amazon ships, so that'll be fun. Again, tier 2 and 3 are only available for this week. So hop on that bandwagon if you want to kickstart your piano learning. I know this is a time of year where things start to get a little bit meh, like I find my students start to get meh with their lessons. So hopefully this is something that'll re-inspire you and get you going again. I encourage you to check out the link below because there is a ton more information that this video is already getting way too long, but I cover things like exactly what each lesson in each module is going to be about, because I want to be fully transparent. I want you guys to see exactly what you're getting. So we'll do that so you have access to that. We'll talk about things like who the course is right for, just to help you decide if it's something that's even going to be for you, because I don't want you to sign up for this if you're like a little ambivalent. So I want to kind of help you decide if that's true or not, what the course is going to help you achieve, stuff like being able to understand what playing level you're at, being able to understand how much time it's going to take you to progress various levels, just based on experience and based on math, how to pick pieces that are appropriate for your level to practice, how to expand your horizons and choose music in a whole bunch of different categories, how to understand the vast amount of repertoire that exists out there, how to plan, how to make the most of your practice time when you're actually practicing, and so many more things. So definitely check out the link below to get deeper into that so this video doesn't get like really ridiculous and huge. And please feel free to ask me any questions you might have. We can, I'll be available for email this week. Between February 22 and February 28 is when the tier 2 and 3 are going to be available. So I encourage you to check that out. Thank you so much for watching today's video. It's been honestly just to be able to release this course into the world feels so good, because this is information that I've been sitting on for a really, really long time that I haven't really known what to do with. So it's like at last I've kind of figured it out, and it's gonna be out there, and I feel great. So then it's like, okay, well, what fun projects are next on the horizon? Anyway, it's been a blast. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll catch you guys later.